Hey guys, Brad here. Welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about optimizing every aspect of your life, and today we're going to talk about two things. The date today is January 7th, and it is time to shop for the holidays. I'm just kidding. We just got through the holidays and the new year, and all of you are probably tired of spending, tired of buying gifts, trying to lay low for a little while your wallet recovers. And that's why I wanted to make this video. We're at the very beginning of our new year. A lot of you are rethinking your finances and making plans for what's going on in the next year. We have birthdays and holidays, weddings, a bunch of stuff coming up in the next year, and might as well start planning for it today. So in this video, we're gonna talk about two things. One of them is how to do envelope spending my way, which is digital envelope spending. And then we're also gonna be looking at how I prepare for the holidays using to-do lists throughout the year. So if you've ever suffered late in the year, November, December, trying to come up with the funds to buy all the gifts that you need to do, not knowing what gifts to buy for which people. So I'm gonna show you my way of doing this ahead of time, earlier in the year. That way, whenever the holidays come around, you don't run out of time, you don't run out of money, and you're totally prepared for anything to come. I don't wanna waste any more time, let's get right into it. So if you've been following my channel, you'll probably see that I'm very big on time management, organization, and cleanliness. So in my physical space, I like things to be very clean and where they belong. In my mental space, I like to be organized. And digitally, I like to make sure that I'm keeping track of things. That way I don't forget things, I'm reminded of things, I get notifications and all of that. So the first thing that I do to make sure that I'm ready for the holidays is I like to make to-do lists. Some people like to use their notes app, some people like to use tools. All last year I was using Trello. I'm actually switching this year to something called Notion. But for the purpose of this video, these all do the same thing. These allow us to take notes, keep track of something, and refer to it at a later time. So what I like to do at the very beginning of every year is keep track of all of the events that I have to plan for, especially the big ones like Christmas, Hanukkah, where I need to prepare by buying lots of things for other people. In the last year, we've actually simplified it by doing a Secret Santa type of thing where each of us buys one gift for another person, but I still was buying a gift for a sibling for Hanukkah, a sibling for Christmas, something for my mom and my dad. We have babies in the family, I have grandparents, and there's just a lot of stuff to keep track of. And one thing that I've noticed is throughout the year, I'm constantly thinking of things like, oh, this would be great for Shayna, or this would be awesome for Nisa. These are my siblings, by the way. I used to always forget these things. So what I do at the beginning of the year is I create a new gift list for every person that's important to me. I'll have a list for my brother, a list for each sister, a list for my parents, and each of those acts as a checklist. Then throughout the year, as I spend time with them, or I'm hanging out with them, or even if I'm just shopping for myself, or I'm on Amazon or something, and something pops up, and as soon as I think to myself, oh, that would be a cool gift idea for Lisa or for Justin, I open up my Lisa and Justin lists, add that item, put a link there, and then later in the year when their birthday comes along, or once it's just time for Christmas, I already have this list that I've been compiling over time, and that list will build up. So later in the year, I just open up my gift list and I can just choose which thing seems the most interesting to that person. Sometimes I try to find out if they already have that thing, but it just makes it really easy because I no longer have to do the job of memorizing or scrambling to come up with good ideas later in the year. I find that later when I'm trying to think of gifts for everyone, it's a lot of pressure and it makes it really harder for me to come up with good ideas. So by doing this in advance, you save yourself that challenge. Another really cool thing is when you're talking to someone, you get those ideas and you take a note right away. At the end of the year, they're gonna be like, wow, like I remember talking about that 6 months ago. How did you remember? And it's like, well, I didn't, but I made a note and followed through with it. So that's the first step. The second thing I do applies to gifts. It also applies to my bills and basically anything that I want to buy or save up for. And the concept is called envelope spending. Now, the traditional method of envelope spending is literally talking about envelopes. For a lot of people, we get paid every month or every 2 weeks or sometimes more than that. But the idea is that if I know in 6 months I'm gonna have to buy something for $600, I don't wanna wait 6 months and then just suddenly have to pull out of my emergency fund. We've all been in that situation where we want to make a big purchase and we sort of wish we had that money lying around. Instead, we either have to wait and save for a while or pull out of our emergency fund, or we're tempted to use credit cards so that we can make that purchase when we want it. The concept of envelope spending is taking a small amount of your recurring income, saving that into an envelope. That way the envelope fills up. So for example, I can take $10 out of every single paycheck and put it into an envelope. This envelope is going to be my mini savings account for my car registration. Because there's 12 months in every year and I'm getting paid 2 times every month, that's 24 times. So that means I'll be putting $10 into that envelope 20 times throughout the year. And at the end of the year, I'll have $240. When it's time to pay my car registration, I literally just open up the envelope, use those funds to pay my car registration, and then I don't have to actually just come up with the funds out of nowhere. Now, even though I try to limit my subscriptions, I definitely have Costco membership, Amazon membership, I pay for my car registration, I have electricity bills, I have all kinds of subscriptions. I used to always just be surprised, get an email letting me know I needed to pay, and then I would either just pay with a credit card or hope that I have the money laying around. But after learning about envelope spending, I decided I wanted to try this. But I'm not big on holding a bunch of cash, so I found my own way of doing this, and this is what I want to show you today. So although I could do this using physical cash, I'm not big on holding onto a lot of cash, and I don't want to have a bunch of envelopes just sitting in my closet. So I discovered SoFi and switched to using that as one of my primary banks. SoFi has a feature called Vaults, which basically act as mini envelopes. So to replicate envelope spending, I created a different vault for everything I needed to save up for, and then created recurring payments. That way, a small chunk of every paycheck adds into each of those vaults. And then I timed it so that each vault has the amount of funds needed to make the purchase at the time that I need to make that purchase, or at the time I need to pay that bill, or whatever it is. Now, I'm actually implementing envelope spending using 2 different banks. One is with Ally Bank and one is with SoFi. I'm using SoFi only for my semi-weekly spending money and my short-term savings. And then I'm using Ally Bank for my emergency fund and some medium and long-term savings accounts. So let's hop into the SoFi app and I'll show you how to set it up. So, looking at my vaults, you can see that I have a vault for travel, gifts, a sewing machine I've been wanting to buy, and clothes. I'm constantly creating new vaults. Sometimes when I want to make a purchase, like buying a new TV, I'll create a vault for that purpose, save up to the right amount, and then I'll delete the vault when I don't need it anymore. But these are the ones that have stuck. So notice I already have an account for gifts and it has $60.03. The reason there's pennies in there is because this money is still gaining interest, and SoFi actually gives a lot more interest than most traditional savings accounts. Creating a vault is super easy and fast. All you do is click on the new vault button, choose a category. It doesn't really make a difference. It just has a different icon. So let's say I'm saving up for a splurge, and then give it a name. And then you can just start saving. From there, if you want to, you can set up a recurring deposit. I'm gonna skip it this time. And then you're done. The reason you see pennies in all of these accounts is because each of these is actually still gaining interest, and it's a lot higher than most traditional savings accounts. So for example, I have my gifts account right here, and I have a reoccurring payment that's funding that throughout the year. At the end of the year, I'll have a small chunk of money, and I'll be able to use that for all my gifts. That way at the end of the year, I don't have to just come up with a bunch of gift money, and I can continue following my regular budget. To create a recurring payment, all we have to do is go to Move Money, Frequency. Let's make it monthly. I'm gonna make a recurring payment once a month on the 15th. I'm gonna put another $10 into my gifts vault. So I already actually had a recurring payment going into my gifts vault on the 1st of every month. And a lot of apps, including SoFi, don't give you the ability to choose multiple dates every month. So to make sure that I'm adding to my envelope twice a month when I get paid, I just made 2 recurring payments, once on the 1st, once on the 15th, that happen every time I get paid. In my opinion, one of the best benefits about implementing envelope spending is it separates all the money that you're planning to use for other things from your regular spending money. So if every month I need to pay rent, I have an electricity bill, a water bill, I need to pay for gas. Usually all the money you want to use for these things is all sitting in one big number. So when you're ready to make a big purchase, like let's say I wanted to buy a $500 TV, I may look at my checking account, see a number that's a lot higher than the price of that TV, and say, okay, yeah, I can afford it. So for me to figure out if I can actually afford that TV, I need to think of all of the bills and all of the things I'm saving for, add all of those up, subtract that from the big chunk of money that I have sitting in my account, and then compare that to the price of the item. With envelope spending, all of that money is subtracted, and instead all you see is the spending money you have available to spend, and you can have confidence that everything else is already accounted for. So like I said, I've been doing envelope spending for the last year, and as a result, I haven't been surprised by literally anything. Every bill that's gone into my bank, I've been prepared for and had money already sitting there ready to use, and not once has there been a time where I have to pay for something unexpectedly. Let me know down in the comments what you think about envelope spending and if you think this could work for you. Let me know if you're interested in seeing some of my short-term or long-term budgeting techniques. Make sure you click the like button if you like this kind of stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on my Instagram channel as I'm starting to post more updates about my videos and some other things that I do to optimize my life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.